to Harvest Kitchen. I'm Gina. Today, we're gonna start our Thanksgiving feast. We're gonna start with the turkey, the dressing, and the gravy. They all go together. All right, let's go ahead and get started. To make the turkey, first we need to make our marinade. You know, some people really want to spend a lot of time doing their turkey and letting it braise, which is wonderful. Those turkeys are fantastic, but it takes a lot of time and effort. I'm gonna show you a quick, easy way to marinate your turkey and make it juicy and flavorful. It's gonna be wonderful. You won't miss the braising at all. So to do that, we're gonna make a nice herb marinade. Let's start. Let me get the pot started. All right, I've got the heat on. We're gonna start with some liquid. First, we're gonna add in a half a cup of butter, which is just one full stick. And that's not butter. Here's the butter. All right, I use unsalted butter because we're going to be adding plenty of other salted things to it. We don't want to oversalt. So go ahead and put your stick of butter in. It's a half a cup. Let's let that melt. Okay, the butter is melted. Let's keep going. Next, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth. Pour that in. Let's get that all stirred up. Okay, we're going to continue adding our liquids. Next is 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And this is 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, so for the most part, that is our liquid. Now we're gonna start adding our dry ingredients as we're really gonna get a lot of flavor. Now first we're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Okay. Let's get that mixed up and get that sugar melted. Okay. Next, I'm going to add in some of our spices. I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of, of onion. This is garlic, and this is ground thyme. Now, the ground part is actually really important in this particular recipe because we're going to be injecting the turkey with this marinade. We want the seasoning to be able to make it through the needle. So make sure when you're adding very fine ingredients. Let's get that stirred in. Okay, you don't want anything to be clumpy, so just stir until you get all the clumps out. All right, next we're gonna add a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of paprika, and this is a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. It's a little spicy. Now, my spicy tolerance is very low, so I'm only using a half a teaspoon. If you really like things spicy, add a little more. Let's add this in. Now it's coming to a boil, which is great. Just keep stirring it. Now, the last ingredient. This is chicken bouillon. Now, you could use a bouillon cube and that'd be just fine. Just ground it up really fine. This is better than bouillon chicken flavor. It just has a little more flavor to it. So I've used a half a tablespoon. Now, if you're going to use a bouillon cube and you want it in powder form, use a full tablespoon because, again, the seasoning level is just a little different. Let's go ahead and add it in. All right. Now, I've got it at a rolling boil now, which is perfect. We're gonna just stir it, give the sugar and the salt a little time to dissolve in it. Stir everything up really well. See, this part doesn't take long at all. Oh boy, look at this. Look how beautiful that is. That's perfect. Our marinade is ready. Let's go ahead and turn it off. We need to let it cool for about 10 minutes. So we're going to do that and set it aside. And in the meantime, we're gonna start getting the turkey ready. Okay, so while our marinade is cooling, we're gonna go ahead and get our turkey ready. The first thing I've done is taken it out of its plastic bag. And then you have to take everything out of the ends. So they like to stick in all the giblets and the neck and all that fun stuff. Now, I am not a big fan of giblets, it's the liver and gizzards is what it really is. I'll open it and show it to you. Okay. Oops. So there's the liver and there's the gizzards, and a lot of people like to chop this up and put it in their gravy. I'm not one of them, so I'm not gonna do it. But I'll tell you how to when we get to that point. Let's just throw this away. And then, yep, and here we go. And here is the neck. You can also put some of the meat from the neck in your gravy if you want to. I don't really like to do that either, but again, I'll tell you how to do it when we get to the gravy. All right, let's just check that I have the other end stuffed. This one's cleaned out now. So now what we need to do is rinse our turkey off. Let's take it to the sink and rinse it real quick. The turkey is all rinsed off. All I did is just run some water all over it and inside of it and then drain it really good. Very simple. Now it's time to marinate it. We're gonna inject it with our marinade. I put the marinade in a bowl so you could see it, see? All right, now what you wanna make sure you do though is stir it periodically because you don't want anything settling at the bottom. All right, so let's do this. I've got my injector. You can buy these almost anywhere. They're pretty inexpensive. You see, it's a huge needle with a nice big opening in it. I don't know if you can actually see that. We'll hold that closer. Hopefully you can see that. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill up my injector. Ooh-wee, it's tight. There we go. All right, there we go. It's ready to go. Now, doesn't really matter where you start, just inject your turkey. I like to go at a bit of an angle so that you just don't go right into the cavity. And then just inject it, just that simple. Fill it up, move it around. And you can actually see the turkey growing right in front of your eyes. Let's just keep going. Let me fill up my injector. I'm gonna keep just inject it all over. You might see a little bit squirt out. That's okay. See how simple that is? Doesn't take any time at all. Now, I'm using a 15-pound turkey because that is perfect for my family. A 15-pound turkey will feed about 10 people. You should figure a pound to a pound and a half of turkey per person. All right, let's keep on injecting. So what this marinade does is it adds an incredible flavor to your turkey to begin with. People will be asking you, how did you get so much flavor into your turkey? It's so good. But in addition to that, it keeps it moist. So there's lots of benefits to doing this. And as you can see from what I'm doing, it's very, very simple. Let's just keep on going. Just inject it everywhere you can see a spot. It doesn't matter where, just do it. There we go. Let's get a little more. I always think it's kind of funny to watch it squirt out after I pull the needle out. Look at that. if you can tell or not, but I've already put quite a bit of marinade in the turkey, and I still have a lot left. So even if you're using a 22 pound turkey, you're still gonna have plenty of marinade. Now, I'm gonna roll the turkey over because we need to make sure we get the dark meat as well. It needs some flavor too. All right. Get a little more in the wings. This is gonna be a really flavorful turkey. It's gonna be so good. All right, at this point I've got plenty of marinade in this turkey. It is really fattened up from all the liquid I put in it. Now I'm gonna get my roasting pan and we're gonna put the turkey on it. Let's do it. Okay, I've got my roasting pan and I've got my turkey. I like to bake my turkey in a baking bag, and you can buy these at any grocery store for like $2, and 2 bags comes in the box. So go ahead and open it up over your roasting pan. I want to tell you too that if for some reason you don't want to use a bag, that is not a problem. You can use aluminum foil, just completely cover your pan and leave yourself enough to tint the turkey. All right, now, still got it flipped over. That's my problem. Here we go. All right, I also want you to notice we've got this little red thing here. That's really kind of a thermometer that the manufacturer will put in the turkey for you. And when it pops up, your turkey's done. But we're not gonna have to use that because I'm gonna show you exactly how long to bake your turkey. Now, my turkey is ready to go. Lift it up and start putting it in the bag. Okay, let's move this out of the way real quick. All righty, now we're just gonna tie up the end. I like to just wrap it up a little bit. They give you a little twist tie in it. Cinch it up. All right, now we're gonna put the turkey in the refrigerator and let it marinate for about 24 hours, and then we're gonna get ready to put it in the oven. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, we're back again. Our turkey has been in the refrigerator for about 24 hours. I've taken it out, and it's time to add the very last step before we put it in the oven. Let's pull back the cover a little bit, just as much as you can. Try to give yourself a little bit of space. Let you see that. All right, what we're gonna do is I have some melted butter. Oh, trying to congeal it. All right, all I'm gonna do is pour the butter over it. See what I'm doing? Just pour the butter on it. There. Now, just use your hand, rub it all in really good. Now, I did wash my hands first. Make sure your hands are clean. You know, other folks are gonna be eating your cooking today. All right, so my turkey is covered in butter. We go wash my hand off real quick. Okay, now we're gonna add a little seasoning. I have some garlic salt and I have some rosemary. I'm gonna sprinkle it on. Okay, just sprinkle it all over. I'm doing the garlic first. It really doesn't matter. Just use one, doesn't matter. And that was about 2 teaspoons of each. All right, now let's put the rosemary on. See, there's nothing to it, nothing secret, just sprinkle it on. All right. That's amazing. Our turkey is ready. Let's go ahead and tie the bag back up. And remember, if you don't have a bag, that's okay. Just use aluminum foil. Just make a nice tint over your turkey so that the foil isn't sitting on top of the turkey. Do the same thing with the bag. You don't really want the bag just laying on the turkey. It'll be just fine. Okay? My tie is on. We want to trap in the heat. Now we're ready to put it in the oven. We're gonna bake the turkey at 350 degrees, and we're gonna bake it for about 13 minutes per pound. Right now, while our turkey is baking, we need to go ahead and start making the cornbread for our dressing. Let's get that going. We're gonna start with 1 cup of cornmeal. Let's go ahead and pour that into our bowl. And we have 1 cup of flour. This is just all-purpose flour. Put that in. Then we're gonna add in a little bit of sugar. I like my cornbread nice and sweet. If you don't like your sweet, leave the sugar out. If you like it a little sweeter, add a little more in. I'm using 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Let's add that in. Let's just mix that up a little bit. Let's see. All right. Now, we're gonna add the last couple dry ingredients. I have a teaspoon of salt and 3½ teaspoons of baking powder. Let's add both of those in. Right, that's good. Now for the liquids. We're gonna add in 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of milk, and we have 1 egg. Right. See, this is really simple. There's not too much to it. Now, you can hand stir it if you want to. I'm gonna go ahead and use my mixer. Let's go ahead and mix up real quick. All right, it's all mixed together. Perfect. Don't have any lumps at the bottom. Scoot it to the side. I'm using a 9x9 square cooking baking pan. Nothing to it. Now, you can double the recipe if you have a bigger crowd and just use a 9x13 to be just fine. Now, let's go ahead and put our cornmeal in the pan. It is important to note that I had already sprayed my pan with a spray on cooking oil. You can use whatever brand you want, it doesn't matter, or you can use butter or shortening if you prefer. Right, it's ready to go into the oven. We're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. When it comes out, it should be a nice yellow golden brown color. It'll be perfect and beautiful. Let's get it in the oven. The cornbread has been baking for about 20 minutes. It's out of the oven, and look how beautiful it is. It's perfect. Now we just need to set it aside and let it cool for 20 to 30 minutes so we can turn it into dressing. The cornbread is just about cooled off. We need to go ahead and start getting everything ready for the dressing. The first thing we're gonna do, go ahead and get the heat turned on. We're gonna go ahead and saute the onion and the celery. Let's start with a stick of butter. There we go. And this is unsalted butter just because I'm going to be adding salt along the way and I don't want things to get too salty. I want to be able to control that. So let's go ahead and melt the butter. The butter is all melted. I'm turning it down to a low heat because I don't want it to scorch. Now I'm going to add in 1 chopped up onion. Start stirring that in, and we're going to add in 6 chopped up celery sticks. Let's mix that all up really well. Make sure everything's coated in a little bit of butter. That's it. We're just going to let this saute. It's going to take it probably 20 minutes to get everything nice and tender. The onion and celery are looking really good. They're nice and translucent. They're ready to be turned off, and we're going to set it aside for a few minutes. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is get our cornbread ready. Let's get a bowl out. The cornbread is cooled. we're gonna need to take it out of the pan. The best way to do is go ahead and cut it up. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna just mush it all together. All right, there we go. Now we need to break the cornbread up. So let's go ahead and start lifting it out of the pan. That's a few pieces. I'm just gonna crumble it with my fingers. You see how I'm doing that? It's just nice and crumbly. All right, let's add some more. And add all of it. There we go. Let's keep crumbling it up. All right, you see, everything's all crumbled up. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is the onion and celery that we have sauteed. We're just gonna pour it in. All right, perfect. Let's get that stirred up. You see it's still really dry. That's fine. We've got plenty of liquid to add to it. Next, let's add some seasoning to it. I've got several different seasonings. I've got a ½ teaspoon of pepper and salt, poultry seasoning, lemon pepper, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic salt. Let's pour them all in. Now, if you are making more, you make a bigger batch of cornbread, you'll add a little bit more seasoning. Just double up on your seasonings, be just fine. Stir that together real quick. Oh, I see a couple little lumps there. Let's take care of that. Perfect. All right. Now, next thing is 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Pour that in. Stir that together. All right, this is looking together. All right, now the last thing we want to do is we're going to add more juice to it to make it moist. I don't know about you, but I don't really like dry dressing. I like it to be nice and juicy and moist. So to do that, we're gonna add chicken stock. I have a 1.5 cups. We're gonna add it slowly to make sure that we don't put too much in it. Let's go ahead and pour about half of it in. There we go. Let's stir that together. That's looking pretty good, but it's still a little bit drier than I like it. I want it to be a little more moist. Just let's add a little bit more of the stock. So, added about half again what was left. So I have about 1/3 of a cup left. Let's keep stirring it. Oh, that's looking really good. Really good. We go ahead and add that last little bit. Perfect. Stir that all together. All right, it is the right consistency now. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. I got an extra spoon now. Let's give it a taste. That's perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get our pan ready to bake it in. All right, now I've just rinsed out my 9x9 baking dish that I made the cornbread in. I'm gonna pour the dressing back into it to bake it. Let's get that done. Boy, this looks so good. I can't wait till it's ready. It's gonna be so yummy. I don't know about you, but I love Thanksgiving dinner. And you know, I don't know about your house, but around my house, we only make turkey and dressing once a year. So once that time of year gets here, I really enjoy eating it. You know, it's a special treat. All right, just get everything nice and smooth down in your pan. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna, here, let me put the spoon down. I'm gonna bake it just like this for 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Now, my turkey has about 30 minutes to go, so it's the perfect time to put my dressing in the oven as well. I also want to make mention here with the turkey, if you have baked your turkey using aluminum foil, go ahead and open the oven and pull it out a little bit and pull that foil back so that the turkey can brown. If you used a baking bag like I did, you don't have to do that. It'll brown right through the bag. All right, let's get this in the oven. Okay, I'm so excited. The turkey is ready. Let's get it out of this bag. Now be very careful when you're doing this because it is hot and steamy. Go. All right, I'm gonna cut the bag open from here. Okay, remember, be really careful because it is super hot. Oh man, look at that. Can you see that turkey? It is beautiful. Oh my goodness, it turned out perfect. I'm so excited. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave it here, and at the same time, my drippings are draining into my roasting pan, which is excellent because we're gonna use those drippings to make the gravy in just a second. Okay, I need to be able to get to the drippings, so I need to move the turkey. I'm gonna go ahead and lift the turkey off of my roasting pan. Let's see if I can do it without spilling anything. This way I've got all the drippings ready. Let me pull the bag apart. Get all this together. A little stuck, there we go, it's good. All right, now let's lift this out of the way, and if you've used aluminum foil, just get it out of the way. There's some more drippings in there, see if you can't empty them out. There we go. Now, let's get this out of the way. Can you see that turkey? Oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. I can't wait to eat it. All right, we're gonna move the turkey out of the way. It is ready. Let's go ahead and make the gravy. You need a large skillet. Let's start with that. And you're gonna pour your drippings into the skillet. Mine are still in the bottom of my roasting pan, and my pan is empty. So it should be pretty easy to lift it. Let's see if I can get this done. Just remember, it's still really hot, so be careful. All right, I'm just pouring a bunch of the drippings. I want a bunch of gravy. Oh, this makes such a good gravy. It's gonna be delicious. There we go. There we go. All right, that's about it. Right, perfect. Now you can see my pan is full of drippings. This is excellent. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn it on a low heat. And I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch here. That's what I'm gonna use to thicken it. I just need to drop a little bit of it. If you want, you can just use plain water. I'm gonna go ahead and use my drippings, put it in here. The reason we're gonna go ahead and mix it in my measuring cup first is because I can get the lumps out easier in a small amount. Then we can slowly add it in to the rest of the drippings and make the gravy. All we're gonna do is thicken this up a little bit. It's gonna be fantastic and so simple. All right, I've got about a half a cup of drippings and cornstarch here. You see it's all mixed up. It looks kind of milky. Perfect, right? Now I'm gonna slowly start adding it in, stirring it in. If you stop stirring it, you're gonna start getting lumps. You don't want that. Set that aside. All right, the gravy is starting to thicken up. It's looking really good. Oh, look at this, it's really thick. That's perfect. So here's what you need to think about when you're making the gravy. It's very easy. As you can see, really all I've used is the drippings and some cornstarch to thicken it up, which is going to be very tasty. Now, if for some reason you have a lot more drippings than I do and you need to thicken it up a little bit more, that's fine. Just keep adding cornstarch. Just remember to add it to water before you pour it in and make it a liquid form and stir it very quickly. Now my gravy is just about ready. Last thing I want to do is add in a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm just going to sprinkle in some salt. There we go. I'm going to add a little more pepper. There we go. Stir that in real nicely. Get that all stirred in. Now the one thing we haven't talked about is the giblets. Now a lot of people like giblet gravy. It's not one of my favorite things, so I didn't put it in my gravy. But you can, and let me tell you how to do it. That comes from the liver and gizzards that we pulled out of the turkey at the very beginning. If you want to use that for your gravy, I hope that you've set it aside. And before you pour your drippings into the pan, put a little butter in the pan, chop up the liver and the gizzards very finely, toss them into your pan, brown them very quickly, and then start the process I just showed you. That's the only difference. All right, my gravy is thickened, it's perfect. I'm gonna turn the heat off. All right, now it's time to put that in the gravy bowls. Get a spoon for that. We use a ladle to do that. Look at that. This gravy is gonna be so good with the drippings in it. It's got a little bit of the turkey in it too. It's gonna be so good. There you go. I've got my gravy and my turkey done. Let's set that over to the side. The last thing we've got to do is we've got to get the dressing out of the oven. Let's get that out now. All right, our dressing is all ready too. You can see the sides, the edges are starting to brown and crisp up. That's perfect. Now I'm going to set it down. I've got a serving bowl for it. I'm going to spoon it up. Put it in my serving bowl. All right, there it is. Our dressing is all ready too. Let's get everything ready to serve. All right, guys, and there you have it. That's the first part of our Thanksgiving dinner. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Harvest Kitchen.